Hi. So I'm actually in my sister's studio today for, we're going to do some product photography for you guys and teach you guys how to do it even with your cell phone. She has a really fun window that we're going to utilize today. So this thing would be, there you go, see window, I'll show you a little bit closer in a second. So I'm going to show you some basic products. The purpose of this will be to help if you guys are photographing for Etsy, Instagram, things like that, and how you could do it with your cell phone. And the basis of this is to figure out how to style and to start to understand light. So once you can start to understand how light works, you can do a lot of phenomenal things with styling products. So I'm going to show you what it is right now, what we're going to work with, and we're going to go from there. So we've got some basic things that I know my sister has tried to photograph on her own, and we are going to do a few things with this just to make it a little bit more appealing to the eye and something that's going to grab your attention on a platform like Instagram. All right, so this is the window that we're going to be using today. So again, this is in my sister's studio. The reason why she placed this beautiful thing on it is because on the opposite side of that window is a really big dumpster. So she doesn't want her clients to see something like that, and I don't blame her. So she actually put this up, which is actually quite genius because it diffuses light, so it's going to create a softer light. So if you do not have this, which I'm assuming most of you guys do not, you can actually, if we pop up this window, it actually produces the same light as if this weren't up there. Step one of doing product photography is actually learning where your light source is. And your light source can be any place. It could be any place in your home. For the purpose of this, I am using one window in the studio, but you could do this in your home next to the kitchen. So my best thing to tell you is if you're doing natural light for your products, get as close to your window as possible. So that doesn't mean I have a window right here and I want to be 20 feet away from it. That means you need to bring your table or whatever you're using as a platform as close as possible to the window. Okay, so the second thing you should be aware of is, one, I'm coming over here to turn off all the lights. So there's a ring light over here, I'm turning that off, turning off all the overhead lights. If you're doing this in your kitchen, there could be canned lights at the top. Turn those off. Turn off all lights that are in the room that you're using. The reason why is when you do photograph said product, if you have 2 different or 3 different or 4 different light sources that are going to be present, it's really hard to edit out. And if you're trying to do this quickly and efficiently, you want to make sure there's only one light source, because the one light source that we're trying to find or that we're going to photograph is going to be from said window. So that means any other light has to come off. So anything you've ever thought before where it's like, oh, well, we need the kitchen light on. You don't need the kitchen light on. It's going to make editing really awful. Stick with one source of light, and that's it. Okay, so you've got your table or whatever platform you're using right beside the window. You've got all the lights out. You're just using window light. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to place about 3 things on this platform. What you and I are going to do is start to look at where the light is coming from. And it kind of sounds like common sense, but a lot of people need to do this exercise to start to see exactly where the light's coming from. Because once you see where the light is coming from, that's where you know, okay, I don't need to put a product at this point because it's going to take away light from the other thing. All right, so we have the window right here. I have it open. It's also raining outside. And then we have 3 coffee mugs right here on this thing. Now, since you already know where the window is coming from, you will see that there is more light on this part, correct? So what you can see is that there is shadow protruding on this side, right? And these are a little bit of a fainter shadow. If this was a sunny, bright day or 12 o'clock when I did this video, these shadows will be darker. But you can start to see light to dark, right? Now these things are in a row, so this is great. No one is competing for light. All right, so again, we've got window over here, and then the light is hitting this one, and then it's trickling down. So when you're looking at this straight above, this side is much darker than this side. And why is that? It's because this is overshadowing these guys, because this is side light. Now, why is this important for a product? It's important because, one, if you want to bring attention to something in a picture, your eye is going to go to the most contrasted thing and the brightest. So obviously that's going to be over here. Now I'm using coffee mugs for this, but you can actually do this with anything else. So a paper good, food, things like that. You want to have the brightest thing coming from the pertinent part of where the light is coming from. See? Ding, ding, ding. Cool. Okay, here we go again. Still, we've got window light over here, and then still doing side light. You can see the shadow. So what this means, if you had products, multiple products, in order to help with the light, so you want every single thing to have more light on it, you could do something simple like this. So you would say over here, there's nothing blocking it, right? If you had this here, that would obviously block the light getting to it. But if you did this, every single mug is getting its light. Now, the next thing we're going to do is try to figure out how to make this shadow less of a shadow. However, if you want a light, bright, and airy picture, you can actually just mimic it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to bounce light using a white cardboard. And what these coffee mugs are on right now is just white cardboard. And you can get it from Michael's, Target, Walmart. You can order it from Amazon. And so this is what we're going to do. We are going to bounce the light that's coming from the window back onto the products. And we're going to diffuse those shadows so that they're just a little faint. So here we go. So for the purpose of this one, I'm going to do one simple mug. That way you can sort of see how to do a reflector. So we've got this bad girl right here. See the shadow here? I'm going to go close up, close, and then we've got this. See that? See the change? Away. More, away. See? We've got a lot of shadow there, bringing it back. Shadow, reflecting it back. Now, you don't have to do the reflection. You don't have to. However, if it's something that you like, I think it's fun to play with. All you have to do is just set it up. You could set a book right there to hold it up for you. The best thing about this is you don't have to wait until someone gets home to take the picture. You could just use things around your house to take the picture of it. So now we're going to do the fun stuff, and we're going to go to the products that Jen, my sister, has asked me to style. So let's do that. So for the purpose of this, instead of doing a really crazy backdrop, I just want you guys to focus on the products themselves, how to style them, so each one can have its own personal light, and so you can see it, and you can see contrast and brightness. So I'm just going to stick with a plain white backdrop. So let's do the first round and see how it goes. One more thing, if you are working with objects that roll, one of the things that can help put them together for Flatlay is going to be this like tacky stuff. You can get it at Michael's. Target may have it. I feel like I bought some from Target. It can come in these little slips like this, or it's actually a little block. I haven't seen the block in a few years, but these things last a while, so I actually just went and got a new kind, and this is what they have. So you can maybe find it in a block still. It's just called Instant Tacky. And what you're going to do is put it at the bottom of each product that rolls, and it'll keep it steady, so you don't have to really worry about that when you're styling. Okay, so this is obviously without the reflective board, and we can see in here we've got a heavy shadows right here, which is still fine. But instead of me putting things boom, 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 and nothing is getting the right amount of light, I've put these here so that, see, this has a little bit of a shadow, but this bad girl over here is doing a lot of shadow. So I don't want to put this part right beside something like this right here. So everything wants to have its own light. Now the reason why I put this lady right beside this is because this is clear and it's not solid, so it's not protruding a shadow on it. Now with the board, let's go right above it. So we've got with the board, without, reflecting, not reflecting. Why the next one has a lot of products in it, and my sister wants to showcase, you know, that she can use all of these products, you know, within the day. Basically, I mean, I think we took pictures prior of every product combination, and so this next one deals with the light. The biggest issue we are going to come in with this one is we have some pretty big products. So this is the first one. It is literally the size of my head, and it has some collagen stuff in it. I don't know. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to show you it laid out. Now, from what we talked about before when we were looking at side light and how some objects block the light to get to the next one, that's basically what we have to look out for with this guy. So really, when I go to style the board, I want to make sure that that big thing is not blocking any of the light on the other ones. So when we're looking down at it, it needs to be the farthest away from the window, if that makes sense. And we're going to put some putty on it to make sure it is steady, but that guy is probably going to be one of the first ones that I do first. So I'm going to go ahead and try it and style it out and see what I can come up with and show you guys the final result for the picture. All right, so for this next one, I want to show you sort of my idea and why I'm doing this sort of way. So you don't always have to do flat lays where they're just all conveniently spread apart very nicely. You can do some really fun stuff with everything just being very symmetrical, very straight across. So first things first. Again, we've got window over here, we've got light trickling in. There's a reason this girl's over here and not here, because if she was right here, she would block them. See what I'm saying with light? So I made sure to put her over here so she's not blocking the details on these. I styled them so that they are all upright. Now, when you get to these guys, so when you're looking right above, I just wanted to create some really nice interest and just make something not the same as the others. But you could do something similar like this. And the reason why I didn't do this, but you don't have to do this at all, but the reason why I originally had it this way, then I realized this didn't match the direction of these. So how you are reading these is this says on guard. So it's reading this way. And you don't read this way with this. You read it the same way as this, on guard. Go macro instead of go macro. Does that make sense? So I put it this way just to keep everything on par, reading the same way. So let's see what this looks like with and without the reflective board. So I do want to apologize because I realized when I made that in the studio, I totally didn't even make an ending video. So here I am. My apologies for it kind of being like a low grade video, but it was the first one and you guys got some free information. So I hope it was really helpful and hopefully I can figure out how to make better videos for you guys. But love to hear what you thought of it and if it was helpful. Have a good one, y'all.